Welcome to Food Safety Bites, the official podcast of the International Association for Food Protection. I'm your host, Lisa Garcia, and on this podcast, we're bringing together voices from across the food protection community for conversations that are thoughtful, practical, and a little more personal. In each episode, we'll explore the ideas, challenges, research, and real-world experiences shaping the future of food safety. We'll talk about what's changing, what we're learning, and what it takes to keep moving this important work forward. Hello. Today, I am happy to be joined by Faith Critzer from the University of Georgia. Faith is also the chair of the IAFP Program Committee. Welcome, Faith.
Thanks, Lisa. It's so nice to be joined by you and be part of the podcast today.
Exciting. Can you tell me a little bit about your current position at the University of Georgia?
Yep, I'm interim department head at the University of Georgia. I'm also a professor there, and I study food safety related issues. I also teach food microbiology to all of our undergraduate students and any graduate students who haven't come from a food science background. And I really love doing research and mentoring grad students. It's a lot of what fills my cup every day, and I focus on fresh produce safety specifically.
Good. So, as I said, you are the chair of the program committee. Can you kind of tell us how you got to that position?
Yeah, I told people and checked the box on IAFP Connect that I wanted to volunteer for that committee.
Yes.
And the one thing I would say to people is, a lot of people get, discouraged if they check the box one year and they're not picked the next year.
Yes.
It's there's a good number of people on the committee, but it's, relative to the membership of IAFP, there's a lot of people who've checked that box.
Yes.
And we're putting in somebody from industry, somebody from academia, somebody from government every year that rolls onto the committee. And so I waited for like 7 years to get my turn to be on the committee, and just be patient, right? It doesn't mean that you're not ever going to get selected to be on it, but just stay engaged and, be part of the conversation and do your part for other aspects of, involvement with IAFP, and your time too will come.
Yes. Leading up to that, had you chaired or vice chaired any of the professional development groups?
I have been involved a lot in the professional development groups. I had also been part of the Food Protection Trends Management Committee, where I vice chaired and chaired it. And then I'm, involved in the Constitution and Bylaws Committee. So I would say showing your involvement is really important, right?
Yeah.
And that involvement can come in all different aspects, right? Sometimes it's involvement with the affiliates, sometimes it's involvement with the PDGs, other times it's these special committees, or just participating in the annual meeting, right? Or webinars, or there's a lot of different ways for members to get involved.
Yeah, I would agree. You really have to get involved to know what the processes are in IAFP. And just taking that little step, to raise your hand and be part of these PDGs and committees and anything you can be involved in.
It's half the battle, honestly, right? Because you really just need to be able to show up and to keep on showing up. It takes sustained showing up, basically, is what it's not a special club or anything like that. It's really a pretty open group. And once you get involved, you realize that really soon. And it's so fulfilling because you get to meet people you wouldn't have otherwise met, right? Because you're intermingling with all these people from different fields and different aspects of food safety. So it's really nice.
And I think really one of the things that make us unique is that we're really a bottom-up approach when it comes to the program. We are not selecting what we are selecting, but we're selecting from what the membership submits.
Yeah, there is no predetermined list of hot topics that we're going to hit on, and that's all we're picking from.
Right.
It is really, what is the membership put forth, and then what seems to be the best amongst that group. And it is really stiff competition.
It is. I've seen it.
Yeah. And so it's really tough. And that's one thing I would tell people is just because your symposium or round table wasn't selected does not mean that it's not worthy and it's not of high quality.
That is such a good point to make.
Yeah. You should just be consistent and look at it, evaluate, have a conversation with a member of the program committee. They will give you feedback on it. And
that's a very good point. Yeah. We know you're going to be disappointed, but really It's tough. It is so tough.
Well, and I'll use myself as an example. I've had things that I put in for like 3 years running, right? And I tried to tweak them and improve upon them as I went through. And I really think that it is key, right? If you really believe in it, then don't be deterred, right?
And can you kind of tell us a little bit about how we try to get that balance?
We really want people to work with the PDGs because the PDGs are kind of looking holistically for their kind of topic areas about what's really important. And so while you can submit any of these as an independent, convener and organizer, you can really do, I think, a lot better job if you coordinate with the PDGs, get their feedback on things. They are very open to doing that. And then you'll also know sometimes there's things that are very similar who come in, and we would really like them to have worked together. And sometimes that happens if we give them the feedback on the back end after we review them. But a lot of times that would have been much cleaner and probably stronger if they would have done it just organically, working through their PDG. So I would say reach out to your PDG that is most aligned with the topic area and run it by that chair and vice chair.
I think that's really, really good advice. And then working through that program committee, what would you say is the most challenging aspect of that?
Oh, man, it is a lot of good things coming to the table. And it's really unfortunate we don't have 2 annual meetings, right? To fill, because we could easily do that.
Yeah.
We could easily do that. I think that, for those who are interested in kind of what does it involve, it takes a lot of your time in very small pockets of the year. We have a big push that comes in the fall, and then we have another push that comes in February typically. And it's a lot of reviewing, things and really spending your time going through it and carving that out of your day. But again, you've asked to be part of this committee, so now you need to dedicate the time.
I do think some people don't realize the time commitment it takes. And like you said, it is in small pockets. It's a lot of time, but it's short periods of the year that you need to dedicate that time.
That's right. And it's not, it's not like you're having a second job or anything like that, but we normally get about 300 around submissions every year. So we're dividing that up amongst our group. And it takes a little bit of time to go in and score those and really evaluate them and kind of think about them critically against each other.
What do you think has been the most rewarding of being able to be part of that group?
I've loved this meeting since I was a student. I've been coming. In fact, we're here in New Orleans, and this was my first IAFP way back in the day when I was a student.
Oh my gosh, this was your first?
Yeah. So I was like, it's like coming home. Yeah. We're coming home. And I have always appreciated the ability to share things that I was working on when I was a student, and then as I progressed in my professional career. I think it's been really great to really get in there and be able to just interact with people who have similar interests in these small niche areas that we're all focused on individually. And so it's really nice to be able to help shape that and give of my time, right, to help provide a really excellent program, hopefully. People think that too.
So a lot has changed since your first meeting. I think one of the biggest things is probably kind of the size and really the competitive nature of being able to get a symposium on the program.
For sure. My first meeting, we were all in the Hilton, right? We could fit in one hotel. And of course the size, right? It has grown substantially since then. And I think that is part of it, right? Like there's a lot of competition to get your idea on the program. And it's best if you network with people and work as a team, and then try and make it have a diversity of opinions also represented. That's a lot of times what makes a really great symposium or roundtable, I think.
That is something really to consider, because we have all the sectors. We have government, industry, and education. And really to bring those together, I think gives you a more well-rounded session.
So much of what we do is applied, right? We're trying to change people's behaviors, trying to share knowledge, and it really takes all three of those coming together. So I think when people kind of, we all have our little pockets of people we work more closely with. I'm an academic. I know a lot of academics, but what makes a really strong session is pulling in people from those other sectors to add their perspective.
So what is your favorite part of the IAFP annual meeting?
My favorite part is getting to meet all my friends. I call this food safety camp. And it is really getting to network with people that I've never met before that are new to, the organization, as well as getting to meet those people that I've known since I was a student, right? It's a great place to catch up. And I would say on top of it, getting to hear the science, right? You get to see so many posters, so many talks of research that's ongoing. You get to see kind of big picture talk, symposium roundtables, get to hear from the experts in those fields. But for me, it's always people. It's always the people I get to see and meet.
Yes, that is so good to hear because it is like a big family.
It is. It is.
And we welcome everyone.
It definitely. I've always felt welcome.
Good. We like to hear that. Yes. So Faith, what is your advice to students coming to the meeting?
Well, don't think you need to wait until you graduate to get involved would be the first thing. You're going to need to start using this meeting to network with people that you're not going to be exposed to when you're back at your university, right?
Yeah.
I would say get involved with the student association. That's key. You're going to need to get involved, and you can also volunteer, right? To be a room monitor, right? There's so many volunteer opportunities for you, and take part in those.
Yes.
I would say show up with your good elevator pitch about who you are, right, for your networking, because it's going to really be one of the best places for you to meet professionals that are already out there, get to learn a little bit about their career paths and how they got to where they are, and pick their brain as you get closer to graduation.
Right, because I think, you cannot be shy because you may meet your future employer, and by future, that may be 2-3 years down the road.
It's near
term. That may be 5 years down the road, but I think building your network is so important at that age.
Is key. And I mean, it was really helpful to me. I think that it was really pivotal to me trying to decide, was I going to go into academia? Was I going to continue forward with a PhD? Who else was kind of in my cohort and riding that same wave? And I still get to see those people here. So it's really nice to have that 20 years of like knowing them and knowing them since we were students, right? And all progressing together.
Yeah. And we have a really good mentor program for the students. And it's really actually a good opportunity for the seasoned professionals as well, to get involved and really to make a difference to a student.
I think I've been an IAFP mentor in the past. I think it's really key for students to kind of feel different professionals out and to, as you grow your network, right? Be able to get perspectives from people who already been there, done that.
Yep.
They can tell you, they'll give you their honest advice, and they'll also connect you with other people within, their circles and networks that can help you as you move forward.
Yep. So basic tips for coming to the meeting.
I think plan ahead. Like when that app gets released, you know what you're interested in. Go ahead and make your plan, right?
Yes.
You will sometimes pivot, but have a general game plan for what you're going to do. Show up for the networking opportunities, right?
Yes.
As much as you can, because that's really where you're going to be able to have conversations with people. Seek people out that you want to connect with. Sometimes they're very, people that are really important to you.
Yes.
And you may feel like you're bothering them or something like that, but they want to connect with you. Believe me, it will also, it will be cup filling for them, I guess, in the return. So have those conversations. There's no better place to do it than when you're here, and they're right here too. I think also, don't just go back to your hotel room, right? Really take some time to get to know people. I always try and make at least 5 to 10 more acquaintances, right? And that's how.
Really good advice.
I think that's really key for me. But just use it as for everything it could be, instead of just like, oh, I'm an introvert, I'm going to go back to the room. And collapse.
And we cannot forget comfy shoes.
Oh my gosh, comfy shoes.
That is key.
Yes. I'm in my Adidas today. So.
You will get your steps in at the annual meeting. For sure.
If you're not getting your 10,000 steps, I don't know what you're doing.
Right. Do you usually take in the activities in the exhibit hall?
Oh, 110%. I love how we have the posters out in the exhibit hall. We have all the vendors out here. Even in academia, some people may think like, oh, that's just for industry. We use a lot of these same vendors, right, to supply us for our research and things along those lines. I want to see what's the newest thing they have up and coming, and I think it's a really nice place. And everything's so centrally located here when it comes to eating your lunch and having the vendors right here and having the posters here. It's a really nice way to kind of do everything all at once and kind of chop it up.
And to visit the silent auction.
Of course, you have to visit the silent auction.
Some very unique opportunities to purchase and bid on items. Yeah.
Yes. For probably the past 4 years, I've been donating. I do stained glass. So it's like I always have my stained glass in the silent auction, but it gives back to the foundation, which is so important for
You know
IAFP.
what? It does. And that's what I think the best part of our silent auction is it the unique items that individuals hand make and donate.
It is so nice.
They're one of a kind.
You really get to learn about all these hobbies that people are quite skilled in, right? You know them in a professional manner, but it's like, oh, look at what they're doing.
For sure. It gives a little bit of their personal in there. Yeah, that is good. Faith, can you kind of tell us how your career progressed, where you started, and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, I was a student at the University of Tennessee, and I started washing dishes in David Golden's lab, who is a longtime member of IAFP.
Yes.
And that got me interested in going to graduate school. So I finished up my master's and PhD there. And all throughout that time, as soon as I started my master's, like I said, IAFP was one of the first professional meetings I went to. And it was really pivotal for me getting to know other professionals working in food safety. I went on as I got my PhD. I really had a decision to make on what path am I going to pick. I thought I really wanted to go into academia. I had a position offer to go work with the FDA also at that time, which would have been a really nice and fulfilling job. And I had entertained a little bit because I had done some internships with industry. I'm like, this is also fun and challenging in different ways.
Yeah.
And I really used my kind of network of people that my sounding boards, right, to think through it. And also reflect and think about what is really going to make me happy at the end of the day, because yes, you need to pay the bills. Yes, you need to be able to sustain yourself, but having a job you love, I always feel like is one of those things that you'll never work a day in your life, right? And even though there's lots of challenges that come with it, I really love working with students. I love mentoring students, and academia really gave me that way of doing that wholly, right? And I found that over my time, I've been at University of Tennessee and Washington State, and now at the University of Georgia.
Yes.
It has been so nice to see my students throughout my career leave and fly the coop, right? And then go out and become their own professional selves and really blossom and grow as they move throughout their career and see where they're at now.
Yeah.
It is so nice and rewarding. I couldn't think of anything better to do.
Right. I think that's important to have that sounding board, because it is difficult to choose.
It is so hard, because any option, honestly, could be a really great option. I think you really have to be honest with yourself about what is going to be the best for you.
Yes.
And it's not only salary. It is a lot of other things that you have to take. And it's hard to know unless you have people that are doing it currently.
Yes. And like you said, you really have to enjoy what you do. And obviously, I've been around a little while, so I've enjoyed working with each and every one of you. It's been a rewarding career for me as well.
Well, we really appreciate it. It's so nice to have staff at IAFP that, again, you get to see them at the meeting, and then you get to see them on Zooms and other things throughout the year, depending upon what roles you have. But it's really nice to have that engagement. And it does
become one big family.
It does.
Yes. It does. So Faith, how do you get your students ready to come to the meeting? how do they get their posters ready, and how do you get them meeting ready?
We practice. So because it's a little bit daunting, right? For a lot of them, it's the first time they've ever been to a professional meeting. They don't usually do it as much as undergraduates. So they're masters and PhDs getting really nervous about standing in front of a poster or having to give a 15-minute technical talk, right?
Yes.
So we practice internally. We practice with our lab groups. Everybody has to present their posters and get edits back from the group and have group feedback. And I think that really helps them prepare. For students who are giving technical talks, that's kind of tough because you only have 15 minutes. Right. You're nervous. All of a sudden, you will be talking a mile a minute. So it's just practicing and knowing that, everyone who gets up on that stage or in front of an audience and gives a talk feels nerves. It wouldn't be normal if you didn't. And even when you're just talking one-on-one with somebody at a poster, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, this is a really important person. And all of a sudden the nerves hit you. But just own the space. They're there to converse with you. The people that are in the room to hear your talk are there because they're interested in your topic. So just deliver it the best you can and just try and breathe through the nerves and everything.
Yes.
And practice.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, definitely the practice. I'm sure you have them run through the presentation a couple times to make sure they have that
We practice a couple times as a group, right? And I think it shows. And, just kind of, you have to just go with it, right? Sometimes things happen and things, kind of go a little, maybe somebody runs a little over or something like that. Just, it's fine. It's fine. You just go with it.
Yes. And as a student, really to get involved on the session level by being a student session monitor.
It is really nice. And they're needed, right? They're very much needed. And I would say for those people who have just graduated, volunteer to moderate a session also, because we need those people and for the technical talks, right? To introduce people. And I understand it's 3 hours of your day, but it's a really great, when I've done it, it's a really great way to be able to engage with those speakers and you're engaged in listening for those 3 hours. And it's a topic you like, right?
Right. And it forces you to make new connections that you would not have made.
No.
Had you not done that.
No.
So I think it's a really good opportunity to get involved all around.
I think so too.
And then the students, probably their highlight is a student mixer.
110%. 110%. And even as a professional, sometimes I like to go in and crash the student mixer because it's a little fun to do that also. But yes, you should show up to that student mixer if you're a student because it's a great way to meet other students.
Oh, definitely. And we have purposely planned it on Tuesday because then they only have one more day of the meeting left.
You're in the downhill.
Yes. Yes. They need that to get through. So, it's an excellent opportunity for the students to actually be able to socialize and kind of celebrate. Sometimes it's their first meeting. Sometimes it's their fifth meeting. Whatever it is, it's time. And sometimes it's people like you crashing it to get back at it.
It's a little fun.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. And then they also have the opportunity for the student lunch.
Oh, the student lunch is so nice. I mean, it's the first day, right? So it's early in the meeting. And I think it's a really nice way to, start to engage with. If you're new, you should definitely sign up for that luncheon. Get your t-shirt, all that good stuff, right? Even for us working professionals, get to support the students and get the student PDG t-shirt.
For sure.
And I think that it's, a lot of professionals go to that also. So it's not just students going to that lunch, right?
Yeah.
And it's a really great way to get to meet them and just have a conversation at a table.
I mean, and I think that's the overall theme here is the more involved you are, the more people you're going to meet, the bigger your network, the more possibilities for your future.
It is a great place for that. And it's a small, very focused group all on food safety. So if these are your people, you should come here, right?
Yes.
And get to network with them.
Right. And you may even be able to connect with someone that's doing the same research or something similar and
110%.
Really learn from them.
You may feel like you're the only person doing this. I know I did when I was a master's student. And when I came to IAFP the first time, I was like, there's somebody else doing the exact same thing I'm doing. It's slightly different focus, right? Slightly different, but it was so nice to connect with them. And I wouldn't have otherwise, because they're currently doing the research. It's not like it's published. It's not like it's out there. And it was a really great way to make those connections early in.
Yep. And I would say, we have schools of all sizes represented.
Oh, sure.
And, it might be easier for the bigger schools because they may know others coming, but it's for everyone, and everyone can get involved, and we're going to accept everyone into our family. And so we just need to encourage all students everywhere around the world
we have
to get involved.
110%. And I think that's also nice. There's international representation here. And we have over 100 graduate students at the University of Georgia. And there's not a single one that's doing the exact same thing, right? Or else, it's redundant, right?
Yes.
So you can really come here and find your people that are at other places doing similar things to you. And sometimes they're students, sometimes they're working professionals. There's all types of people, right, who present here.
Yes.
Ongoing research that's hot off the presses, right?
Right, yeah. And you see a lot of those side working groups. As you walk through the convention center, there's a little pod here, and they truly are working. They have their computers out. They are
I have one coming up later on today. We all know that we're going to be here at this meeting. It's like, well, let's just take this opportunity to have a face-to-face meeting and just touch base on
Doesn't have to always be a Zoom call.
No. We can actually see you in person.
Yes.
In real life.
Now it's time for the 5 final bites. Are you ready for this?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, question number 1. What is a food safety myth you'd like to retire?
Oh, man. Well, I think we all know a lot of the myths that are out there for the public. The one I would say for professionals, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people feel like, I don't know this and it's not for me. Within the field of food safety, this is a great place to make it for you. You can start to build your knowledge base here and start to make those connections here. So you're always learning throughout your career. So take advantage of it here.
That's a good one. 2, who in the food protection industry has influenced or inspired you?
Oh, man. I would say that I've been inspired by a lot of different people. It's probably not fair just to name one, but one person that I really admire as past IAFP president has been Linda Harris. I think that she does a lot to mentor young professionals and students, and she was at the University of California, Davis.
Yeah.
And I think that she is a really great example of how to give back to organizations throughout your career. And so
she continues to show up.
She's retired and she's here this year. And I really appreciate that. And it's something that, like, when you think about the way you want to show up and the way you want to be perceived as, I would be happy if people were like, if I emulate her, I feel like I'll do a good job of that.
Yes. Is there any food you avoid or feel good about eating because of the work you do?
I work in produce and I eat a lot of salads. Let me tell you, fresh fruits and veggies, I'm all for it. I think, of course, if you're immunocompromised, sometimes you have to make other decisions around that when you're a little bit different risk profile. Probably the one I avoid is like raw oysters on the half shell. Yep. I don't like filter feeders. I don't like raw necessarily. And I know a lot of people in our field who love them. I'm also, it's more of a texture thing to me too. So I'm like, I can avoid that easily.
That's an easy one. Yeah. In your opinion, what does the future of food safety depend on?
I think it's growing our base, right? Getting new people engaged and keeping people engaged, right? Not making them feel like they're just checking boxes. And for me, it's so much knowledge is power. And I know I'm an educator, but I worked a lot in extension. And I find in our field, really training people on the why for why they're doing something is key. And everybody's capable of learning. And I know there's a lot of people out there working in industry or other facets, and they're like, the knowledge base it needs building up, but you can do that because you're the professional and you have the knowledge.
Yes. And one final question. What's your lifesaver or must have at the annual meeting?
Oh, I would say definitely the app. It keeps me straight. It goes to my calendar. It is my go-to for what's my next thing on the docket for today. Otherwise, there's so many things happening. You're going to get lost.
That is such a good point. Yes. Faith, I want to thank you for being here and sharing your journey with IAFP, both as a student and evolving into the chair of the program committee, and little tips that you shared with us. I think this will be very valuable for all members. Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much, Lisa, for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.